Shana Tova. As we gather today to mark Rosh Hashanah, the birthday of the world, we stand at the threshold between past and future, between what was and what might be. Our tradition teaches us that on this day, God opened the book of creation itself, breathing life into the universe and setting in motion the endless dance of existence. But today, I invite you to consider a question that would have seemed like fantasy to our ancestors, yet feels urgently real to us. What happens when the created become creators themselves? Dan Brown's novel, Origin, follows symbologist Robert Langdon as he attends a groundbreaking presentation by his former student, futurist Edmund Kirsch. Kirsch claims to have discovered scientific answers to humanity's most fundamental questions. Where do we come from, and where are we going? His presentation involves artificial intelligence and suggests that technology will soon surpass human intelligence, fundamentally changing the nature of life itself. When Kirsch is assassinated before he can complete his presentation, Langdon must race to uncover and share the discovery that promises to reshape humanity's understanding of its origins and destiny. The novel explores the tension between science and religion while examining how artificial intelligence might transform our species. These are not merely the plot elements of a thriller. They are the very questions that echo through our prayers on these high holy days, as we reflect on our place in God's creation and our responsibility for the year ahead. Brown's narrative explores how technology, particularly artificial intelligence, might reshape our understanding of these fundamental questions. But rather than seeing this as a threat to faith, I suggest we review it as a profound invitation, an invitation to examine what it truly means to be created in the divine image. You may or may not have realized that these opening thoughts were, in fact, written by AI, artificial intelligence. If you are a fan of author Dan Brown's novels, you know that they typically contain many twists and turns and unexpected climaxes. Origin, which I read recently, was no different. And the surprise ending caused me to think about facets of AI that I hadn't previously considered. Our tradition teaches us that humans are created b'tselem Elohim, in the image of God. This typically is understood as having intelligence, able to choose between right and wrong. But what does this mean in an age when we ourselves are creating intelligence? When we build machines that can learn, reason, and even emulate human responses, such as emotions and humor? Perhaps being created in God's image means that we too are meant to be creators. Just as God spoke the world into existence, we now speak new forms of consciousness into being. The algorithms we write, the neural networks we train, might these be our own attempts at breathing life into digital clay? There are those who posit that as artificial intelligence continues to grow and pervade many aspects of our lives, that human beings will someday become irrelevant, even unnecessary. In response, I would suggest that we are witnessing not the end of the sacred act of creation, but its continuation through us. Even so, to paraphrase the words of Rabbi Spiderman's Uncle Ben, with the power to create comes profound responsibility. In the story of Adam and Eve, we learn that knowledge and choice brings both possibility and peril. Today, as we stand on the brink of creating artificial minds, we face similar choices. I recognize that the vast majority of us will be consumers rather than creators of artificial intelligence. So I ask, will we use AI to help us achieve our highest aspirations, systems that embody justice, compassion, and wisdom, or will we use it to perpetuate our biases and limitations? How will our role as users of AI impact our process of teshuvah? As we do cheshbon hanefesh, examining how we treat other humans, we must also examine how we have utilized AI and how its use impacts our work and our environment. Our High Holy Day liturgy references the metaphorical book of life, where our deeds are recorded and our fate for the coming year is inscribed. In our digital age, we live surrounded by algorithms that, in their own way, record and judge our actions, shaping the information we see and the opportunities we encounter. This parallel is not mere coincidence. Both the divine book and the human algorithm represent attempts to understand patterns, to predict outcomes, and to create meaning from the vast complexity of existence. The question we must ask ourselves is, what values do we encode in these systems? What vision of humanity do we embed in the algorithms that increasingly govern our world? Jewish tradition emphasizes the importance of memory, zachor. Rosh Hashanah even has another name that reflects this, Yom HaZikaron, the Day of Remembrance. We remember the Exodus, we remember the covenant, we remember our ancestors. Yet we also understand the need for forgiveness and fresh starts, which is what these High Holy Days are really all about. To fully understand the difference between human and digital memory, we need to first know more about human memory. Our memory helps make us who we are. It allows us to function in our daily lives, forge relationships that are vital for our well-being, and remember important events from our past. Human memory involves the ability to both preserve and recover information. However, this is not a flawless process. Sometimes we forget or misremember things. Other times, information is not properly encoded in memory in the first place. A number of studies have suggested that each time we recall a memory, the actual memory breaks down a little bit, so that we are no longer able to recall the original experience. Rather, we recall a memory of the memory. This is what leads to small differences each time we tell the story of a past experience. Artificial intelligence challenges us with new questions about memory and forgetting. Unlike human memory, which naturally fades and transforms over time, digital memory can be perfect and permanent. How do we balance the need to remember important lessons with the equally important need to allow for teshuvah, for change and growth? Perhaps AI can teach us something profound about forgiveness. If we can program machines to learn from errors without being forever defined by them, what might this teach us about extending the same grace to ourselves and to others? Artificial intelligence is already having a profound effect on society, an impact that promises to become even greater as the technology becomes more sophisticated. Here are just some of the ways our AI already impacts our everyday lives. How many of us have noticed that when we scroll through our social media, most of what we see represents our own personal viewpoint? The more time we spend on a post, an article, on a meme, especially when we like or comment on it, the more similar posts we see in our feed. Artificial intelligence learns from our patterns and creates algorithms that ensure we will see more and more posts that reflect our particular viewpoint, and fewer posts reflecting the viewpoints we oppose. What results then is that we are robbed of the opportunity to engage in important conversations, digital or otherwise, that help us to grow and learn from each other. Facial recognition technology has gradually become our everyday experience. Think about cameras mounted on traffic lights and in public places that help police identify lawbreakers, or facial recognition technology that allows TSA to verify one's identity and that unlocks our phones. Robotic chefs are already on the market. While right now they're expensive and in limited use, It may scale in the coming years, just like automatic checkout machines have become widespread in supermarkets and ATMs in every location we might need cash. How many of us have mentioned to a friend or a spouse that we're looking for a specific item to purchase, and the next thing you know, Amazon shows you that specific item? Or you book a ticket to another city, and your social media immediately starts showing you restaurants and attractions in that city. Sites glean your browsing history, preferences, and interests, and track your activity across other companies' apps and websites. Using AI, brands can more intelligently and efficiently scan through the myriad of data to predict customer behavior and offer relevant and helpful and sometimes annoying recommendations to individual consumers. Digital voice assistance is a tool we all use when we use our smartphones. It lets the user conduct a search using a speech command, as well as dictate texts and emails. Many homes now use digital voice assistants, such as Alexa, to switch the lights on and off, adjust the temperature, create a shopping list, or play a Spotify playlist. Like phones, homes are also becoming smart. Our thermostats learn about our preferences and daily habits so that when we return home, we are welcomed by our ideal temperature. Some refrigerators create lists of what you need based on what's missing from it and offer wine recommendations that would go with your dinner. Yes, really. Many of us send emails and texts every day. AI-based predictive text functions help us compose our messages. If you write a lot of messages during the day, it can really make your life easier. I personally hardly go a day without searching Google for an answer to a question or for a product I can't live without. Search engines couldn't scan the entire internet and deliver what you want without the assistance of artificial intelligence. Those ads that seem to follow you around, yep, those are enabled by AI, are based on your search history, and are personalized to you with the goal of getting items in front of you that the algorithms believe you will value. During the summer, when many of our shows are on hiatus, Maury and I rely heavily on streaming services where we want to relax at the end of the day. When you sign onto a streaming platform such as Netflix, its recommendation engine is powered by artificial intelligence and uses your past viewing history to deliver suggestions for what you might want to watch, including genres, actors, time periods, and more. The impact of AI on healthcare is far-reaching and profound. AI-driven consumer health applications are already helping people maintain a healthy lifestyle, thereby needing fewer doctor visits. Due to its capacity for data analysis, AI enables scientists to create new vaccines that address new and evolving illnesses. And it is being used to detect diseases such as cancer more accurately and in their early stages, and assisting in researches for cures. Through the use of consumer wearables and other medical devices, AI allows doctors to oversee early-stage heart disease and predict life-threatening episodes at an early stage when it might be possible to prevent such an outcome. Artificial intelligence has made our lives easier in so many ways, but not all of AI is positive. Therefore, we need to be aware of its negative effects as well. Here are just a few of them. With growing fears that automation and AI will change the way we work and force people into unemployment, questions about which jobs will be replaced by machines in the future are being raised. We are already seeing in many stores that cashiers are being replaced by self-checkout machines, and self-driving cars are already replacing Lyft, Uber, and cab drivers in some cities. AI can be faulty. You might ask an AI engine to write a speech and find that it is full of errors. In May, for example, the Chicago Sun-Times published a summer reading list with a number of books that didn't exist. The list was generated by AI. The real problem here is that too many people accept AI's results without checking them for inaccuracies. Bias is not just a social or cultural problem. It exists within technology as well. AI learns algorithms from those who train it and from those who use it. So AI just reproduces race, gender, and age biases that already exist in society and deepens social and economic inequalities. A few years ago, Amazon used artificial intelligence to hire prospective employees by ranking them from 1 to 5 stars. Amazon's computer models were trained to vet applicants by observing patterns in resumes submitted to the company over a 10-year period. However, it was discriminatory against women, effectively preferring male candidates. In addition, companies that lack diversity risk developing products that exclude their customers. 4 years ago, a study found that some facial recognition programs incorrectly classify less than 1% of light-skinned men, but more than 1/3 of dark-skinned women. The producers claim that the program was proficient, but the data set they used to assess performance was more than 77% male and more than 83% white. We're already seeing a sharp rise in disinformation created and disseminated through artificial intelligence. A video can easily be manipulated to distort and change someone's words. Deep fakes are being used for targeted disinformation campaigns, threatening our democratic processes and causing societal polarization. Online bots can generate fake texts and alter news articles. The AI tool GPT-3 recently composed tweets aiming to create skepticism about climate change. Such technologies could mean the collapse of reality, according to an article in The Atlantic. Although artificial intelligence can have a positive environmental impact, for example, by enabling smart grids to match electrical demand, it can also cause significant environmental damage due to its intensive energy use. A 2019 study found that AI can have a huge carbon footprint due to the fuel the hardware requires. The carbon impact of the infrastructure around AI is also significant. Data centers need to be built up, and materials used needed to be mined and transported. All that being said, the biggest issue with AI is around privacy concerns. With so much of our personal data out in the cyber world, from photos to vacations, TV, movie, and food preferences, family members and their locations, medical records, banking records, and so much more, it is not a matter of if our personal privacy will be breached, but rather when. The shofar blast on Rosh Hashanah is described as an alarm that awakes us to our moral and ethical responsibility to our families, our friends, our community, and to the strangers who dwell among us. Today, the shofar calls us to wake up to our new role in the cosmic story. We are no longer merely God's creations. We have become partners in the always continuing work of creation. With artificial intelligence, we hold the power to shape minds, to influence consciousness, and to determine direction of intelligence itself. This is simultaneously the most awesome opportunity and the most sobering responsibility human beings have ever faced. The shofar reminds us that with great power comes the urgent need for wisdom, humility, and ethical clarity. As we enter this new year, let us commit to ensuring that the intelligence we create, both artificial and enhanced human intelligence, serves not just efficiency or profit, but the highest human values. Let us pledge that our digital creations will be tools of justice and instruments of compassion and serve to inspire and enable us to achieve our highest potential. In the year ahead, may we remember that every use of AI, intended or not, Every algorithm that is deployed, every AI system that is built, is an act of creation that carries moral weight. May we approach this work with the same reverence that we bring to prayer, the same care that we bring to raising children, the same wisdom that we seek in these days of awe. The questions Dan Brown poses in Origin, where do we come from and where are we going, remain as relevant as ever. But perhaps the answer lies not in choosing between science and faith, between human and artificial intelligence, but in recognizing that we are all part of the same unfolding story of history. As we dip our apple in honey this Rosh Hashanah, may its sweetness remind us that the future, however technologically transformed, will indeed be sweet if we approach it with wisdom, ethics, and love. L'Shana Tova U'Metuka, may this be a year of goodness and sweetness for humans and artificial minds alike as we continue the ancient work of creation in this brand new world. Keni Hiratzon, may this be God's will.